Good morning, welcome back. It's a couple of days after Christmas now. I haven't touched the Land Rover over Christmas, so excited to get back out there and hopefully get this gearbox lifted up and remounted to the bell housing. Going to use the engine crane. I don't know if anyone saw in the first video, it came out rather ungracefully, so I'm hoping that it goes back in far more gracefully than it came out. I think some of the damage in the second video to the spigot bush was probably due to my previous attempts at getting the gearbox in. If anyone's done it before, the splines don't always line up, and yeah, you can cause some damage. But yeah, let's get back out there and get the gearbox mounted to the gearbox while it's still on the floor, and then after that get the engine crane set up and get it lifted into position and remounted. I've really got to crack on, get the Land Rover finished. It's dragging on longer than I thought. The short days aren't really helping, but we need to get that Mini into the spot the Land Rover's in and start working on that. And if I'm honest, I'm not really looking forward to that one, but it's got to be done. So yeah, let's crack on. So we've got the remnants of the old gearbox mount here. That's the driver's side one, that has to come off first. I think it's a 17mm nut on the back. Try. Jesus Christ. Bit of plus gas and a bit of leverage. And these off. Even with the new. So I'm going to leave this one a little bit loose just to give me some bit of play when I come to mount it onto the cross member. Okay. Other side. Okay, so we just popped the jack just under the engine, lifted it up just to get the bell housing off this cross member here. Hopefully that makes putting everything back in a bit easier, fingers crossed. Part of the challenge every time we need to use the engine crane, it's one of the least used tools here and it gets buried by absolutely everything. So it usually takes longer to get it out than it does to set it up, but here goes. Okay, so we've taken the door off, so that was completely in the way. I need to crawl underneath it each time to get in. So that gives us much better access. So fingers crossed, let's get this bolted. I may even take this steering wheel out, because that is in the way a bit. We'll see. Okay, so steering wheel's gonna have to come off. Loosen off this nut in the middle, leave it on a few threads just so you don't get smacked in the face. third time lucky. Had to reposition this a couple of times to get it to come up straightish. So I think a bit of grease on these splines now, and hopefully, although experience tells me it's not going to go back in one, it'll be a bit of playing around, but I think we're winning. We're getting somewhere with it. So. This handbrake pivot mount here is an absolute pain in the ass, so that's coming up out of the way. So it was catching down, oh Jesus, can you, yeah, just down in there. So let's see if it goes in this time. Okay, a little bit of an update. We got so close to getting this thing on. If you can just see the threads here, they're all lining up nicely. I've got 3 jacks and an engine crane at the moment trying to line it up. I mean, the driveway has a bit of a fall on it, that's not really helping. I'm trying to get everything lined up perfectly just so I can get a couple of bolts in, but I can't film, it's just too tight, so I will update you once it's on. This is really throwing a spanner in the works because the engine crane has decided to give up on me mid-lift just when everything's roughly lining up. It needs to go up about another 5mm and it won't even work. So if anybody knows how to sort that out, let me know. Okay. This has proven to be far more difficult than I ever envisaged, so it's taken all the patience. I just got to work slowly, methodically. I haven't been able to film an awful lot. Hats up to these guys who do, because it's incredibly difficult. So I'll just give you an update now. We'll see where we've got up to. Okay, this is as far as the gearbox is in. I've had to put some sort of dowels in, just here. And I've used a 6 screwdriver there and one underneath as well to get it lined up. These, I don't know if you can see, they're fairly clear. These are really quite close. I've put this strap across here to hold it at the back. There's a jack holding it on the front so I could get the engine crane out. The engine crane is gubs for the time being, so I think that needs even more oil or service or something, but what a time to go. So what I'm doing now is popping this cross member back in underneath these 2 bolts just loosely in now, and what I'm hoping is that'll give it some sort of stability if I have to leave it overnight without being held in place properly. So yeah, let's get this bolted up. Okay, little update. The gearbox is back in. Horrible job. I broke my engine crane, I broke 2 car jacks, jammed the ratchet strap, but it's in. There's got to be an easier way to do this, maybe with a 4-post lift and a gearbox, proper gearbox stand, I don't know. But I've got about another 8 bolts to nip up on there now. The light's starting to fade again, which is a nightmare, but I'm going to persevere, try and get this all bolted up, and if I can get the 2 mounts on as well today, just so that it's all safe and secure. Oh, I've got to get the door back on as well. Alright, I've forgotten about that one, but yeah, it'd be nice to be all safe and secure before tomorrow, and then hopefully tomorrow floor pans and the prop shaft back in, steering wheel back on, and then she should be good to go. So trying to get this nut here undone. It's pretty dark, you can just about see that because I've got the washer stuck. Oh, look at that poor light just behind it, so I've got to get that washer out. I'm going to loosen this off, but you can literally turn it about a squillometer every time. I think there's always that guy in the factory who just designs something so that when someone has to come back to it, it's an absolute pig to get at. So this is one of the many bolts on this old dandy that has had his touch, I'm sure. Okay, about 1,000 bolts, about 80% all done back up. Gearbox mount down there. I've just got to tighten that 17mm bolt. While I'm here, my 4-wheel drive was sticking before, and I believe if you take this cover off here, you can get in there, free it up, and it should work. So that's the next task. Okay, so we've removed this lever from here. There was 7/16 bolts and this, and now this cap comes off here. You can see it's looking pretty manky in there, but it now hits straight against that clutch bracket. So I think I've got to undo these bolts again, take out that split pin, pull this fork here out, and I should be able to move this enough to slide that off, because I think there's, if you can see there, it's all cracked along there, so I might want to just strengthen that with a little bit of weld. So let's see if we can get this out. Split pin out next. Thought we could just tap that out, but obviously can't. No. Well, that is rubbish. Who the fuck thought I designed that? What an arsehole. That's all I can say. These unscrewed, right? Okay, so I'm gonna have to do some googling, see if we can get this cross shaft here out. It's got this one here, and it's got another one just tucked in there, as you can see it. I was hoping that we could have taken that split pin out, tapped it through, slid that cross shaft out, and then this could come off and this could come off here, but it doesn't seem that simple for some reason. So I don't know, yeah, there's not enough way to do it. I was going to try and undo these 2 1/2-inch bolts here, that traver, and see if that gives me a bit more play to get this, wiggle this out. It doesn't need much room, it's nearly there. But this needs welding back on the top here. So yeah, let's tackle out tomorrow. We're out of light now, unfortunately, so I have to pack away, put the door back on, and come back at it tomorrow. So just thrown down a bit of paint on these for the handbrake mechanism. We tapped out this little brass bush out of here. There's a little circlip. Where's that gone? Over here. Holding it on. So I cleaned up the inside of this one. So now I'm going to clean up this and grease it up before it goes back in. It's not too bad. And that bit was on the end there then underneath the circlip. Oh yeah, we took this off the other end, so let's give it a quick clean up as well. Yeah, it's looking a lot better as well. So I'm just going to whack some grease on this. That's nice. On the back. Okay, that's the end of another day. I've lost the light yet again. Gearbox is back in. That was harder than I imagined, but really glad it's back in safely, no injuries. I think doing it with two people would be a lot easier. I'm sure that's how I did it last time. There's a lot of pulling and pushing and what have you to get everything lined up, but it's in, so that's great. I've just cleaned up some of the handbrake linkage, so that can go back on tomorrow. I think we've got a few bell housing nuts and bolts missing, so I'll have to pop them. I'll find some more. I'm sure I've got some more around here somewhere I can pop on there tomorrow. I've got to have another look at that four-wheel drive cover, if I can get that one off, cleaned up, get all the gunk out of it, free it up, so that's I can even rule it out if it doesn't work, or hopefully it'll do the job, and we'll be back and running four-wheel drive, which would be great. I've seen it on a web search somewhere. That's what someone suggested that could be the cause, so yeah, I'll have a look at that again tomorrow. And fingers crossed, if I can get out early enough, we can get the the floor back in, get the clutch refitted, or this slave cylinder, and we can get the prop shafts back on. I'd hope she'd run and drive, so we can get a swap round with the Mini. I can start using the Land Rover again, which should be great, and then we can begin the Mini, which I've said before, I'm not looking forward to it. That one is turbo, clutch, DPF, and possibly a timing issue as well. Maybe one of the timing chain tensionizers is on its way out, loose, I don't know. But that, I think for the turbo on that one, it's an engine out job, so it needs to be where the Land Rover is. Plus I've got to start fixing some tools. I mean, the engine crane over there, that one let me down today badly. Two of the jacks have let me down. I think they're either running low on the hydraulic oil, or they need a new seal or something, so yeah, have to look into that as well. But yeah, join me again and have a look tomorrow.